It's the first major patch of the new year, and Epic has already created controversy with the Jay-Z-esque reintroduction of a not-so-beloved glider redeploy mechanic, plus a new upcoming event and more upcoming leaks here to discuss. First, the 7.20 patch went live yesterday, bringing back the glider redeploy into the normal, non-limited time game modes, but instead of a universal mechanic, it's now an item similar to balloons that takes up an inventory slot, and each time you use it, it will take up one of the 10 charges that it starts out with. These charges do not get used when doing normal glider redeploy mechanics such as jumping out of the battle bus, launch pads, rift to goes, or respawns. In the limited time game modes, each player starts with the glider redeploy in their inventory and has 50 charges, which is more than enough unless you're constantly falling off of your own builds like a drunken construction worker. Even though I understand where this compromise came from after the uproar when it was just universally put into all game modes a few patches ago and then subsequently removed, but in typical one step forward, two step backwards Epic fashion, they've actually fucked both types of game modes with this change. In limited time modes, you're now forced to choose between having only 4 inventory slots if you're going to keep the glider redeploy, or have the correct number of inventory slots that the entire game economy is balanced for, yet be handicapped on mobility, neither of which are palpable options in modes that sometimes don't even emphasize being the last player or team alive like in normal modes. I mean, for fuck's sake, there's modes that are respawn in a battle royale contradiction. In the normal game modes, you're now locking an item behind RNG that makes a key element of survival games completely obsolete with positioning. High ground always wins out with glider redeploy since there's no penalty for building high, since you can't really have your own structure shot down and then fall to your death, nor is it bad to be up on that mountain even if the circle is down in the valley, because instead of having to slide or maneuver your way down systematically, you can just redeploy your glider. This is not the same as balloons, because with them, there are trade-offs to you being able to fly around with not having full control over where your character goes and being very susceptible to getting shot at because you're a slow-moving target up in midair where everybody that doesn't have burnt retinas for gaming too long can see you. You move so much faster through the air with glider redeploy than balloons, and to have them be the same rarity with the same number of charges is just bad balance for the game. Much like a celebrity marriage, I can't see this item lasting too long. Speaking of new items, there was a new weapon, and by new, I mean an existing weapon that added an existing attachment with the scoped revolver. It's available in epic and legendary variants with medium ammo, and unlike its more powerful vaulted counterparts, it has a paltry base damage of 42 and 44 respectively, so in other words, just ignore this like that cute girl at school you're sweating does to you. The biggest other change is buried way at the end of the patch notes, yet something people will notice right away with the reduction of the max stack for small shields being reduced from 10 to 6, so have fun trying to met up in those respawn game modes with this indirect buff to those badger mushrooms laying around the map. Back to the weapons, as the minigun both got a nerf with the addition of an overheating mechanic after 6 seconds of continuous fire, and a buff by having the spin-up time reduced, so this way the gun will actually be used on players instead of destroying the only reason why the game is vastly different from other blah battle royale games with building. For whatever reason, the sniper rifles didn't all have the same bullet trajectory, which makes sense for the suppressed sniper rifle because of that muzzle difference, but now all heavy ammo sniper rifles, including the hunting rifle, will have their bullets drop just like panties on prom night. Also with scope weapons, they fixed the bug where it looks like you hit your shot but actually miss, and that was due to reticle size and centering versus just plain old shitty hit detection problems, and the no-scoped kill feed bug has been fixed, so there's no excuse for that humiliation anymore. Oh, and because set and forget it traps are everyone's favorite things, the chances of finding them have increased with the exception of that pesky mounted turret, because Epic has had a tough enough time of balancing an infinite ammo, high damage weapon. Who would have thought? The glider redeploy wasn't the only mechanic that was redone with the patches. Ziplines now have the ability to change direction by just pressing the movement button in the direction that you'd like to go instead of jumping on and off of it in a different direction just like it's a stripper pole, as well as having players destroy buildings in the way of their travel path to not cockblock people actually trying to get around the fucking map, and finally fixed a bunch of bugs for getting flung off the zip line like on a sketchy vacation excursion. Since Fortnite is a game about building after all, Epic reduced the delay for editing to avoid ghost shots and added a feature to auto stack walls if the one that you just built is 2/3 or more of the way underground, which has been infuriating because it should never fucking happen in the first place, and hopefully this will also get applied to stairs in a future update. You can now see the max inventory of the player you're spectating, and there are new icons in the inventory to make ammo and building items look less like a cartoon, so people will stop ragging on the game as a child's toy. It's too bad that in respawn game modes there is a new bug where the screen goes from 16:9 to 4:3 and then back again during the respawn period, which makes it seem like you're trying to put on Spanx and then realize it's not going to keep it all in there anyways. However, there have been happenings all around the map, with an iceberg on the south island of Happy Hamlet breaking after Fortnite players wanted to speed up climate change by using pickaxes to accelerate the melting process, leaving an unenterable bunker in its wake, similar to the one in Wailing Woods prior to Season 6. Additionally, there's a massive sphere of ice floating above Polar Peak that covers a player's screen with snow like those illegal cable boxes back in the 90s when they get too close, and has been emitting a noise which has been put through a spectrogram by someone with way too much fucking time on their hands on Reddit, revealing the face of the Ice King here, which is a skin at tier 100 of the Battle Pass. Another user ended up being able to see inside the globe in the replay mode, and it does reveal the Ice King holding something eerily similar to Kevin the Cube. There are also leaks that reveal the assets of the globe exploding and there being an ice storm event, possibly starting next week, with weather warning images that are being played on TVs around the map, similar to other events in previous seasons. Additionally, there have been challenges associated with the event found, which include lots of references to dealing damage or destroying the Ice Legion, Ice Shards, Ice Brutes, and Ice Fiends, similar to the AI that infested the game during the Fort Nightmares event, with rewards being a new glider called Winter's Throne and a wrap called Blue Metallic. So I guess we're gonna have to deal with this shit getting in the way of actual matches, as if Epic needs to add AI to its game because Call of Duty did so with Blackout. Hopefully this Ice Storm event won't be as shite as the actual storms headed my way here in New York in the next few days. Speaking of both the Ice King and Leak challenges, we've also got the Week 7 challenges as well as the Week 7 and 8 loading screens that were leaked. Week 7 doesn't start until tomorrow, but for players that don't have to pay for a character dangle, there's a stage challenge that starts dealing 200 damage to opponents in a single match without knowing the other stages. Next, destroying flying X-Wings, which should be a joy to dump bullets into, only to have some other fuck trumpet deal the finishing blow. And finally, 3 pistol eliminations to encourage people to use that Terabad new scoped revolver. For players that did pay extra money to play like a twat waffle for cosmetic rewards, searching chests at Leaky Lake or Frosty Flights, 2 places you never really want to be caught dead or alive in, using a rift or rift to go in 3 different matches for people that can't get over the meta or the theatrics of Season 4, visiting all expedition outposts for people that can actually see the tiny red pixels on the big fuck off map, and finally a stage challenge, which we only know of the first one, to land at Salty Springs, finally a place people would actually want to go. Once you complete all of those challenges, you'll get this sweet loading screen of the Ice King himself here, now with 100% less fear, and a Game of Thrones screenshot ripoff since winter is coming after all. And the Week 8 loading screen is shown here with the same character overlooking the map with a clear snowstorm, not sandstorm, raging on down below the castle at Polar Peak. There's also some new leaked items for people that like to spend way too much of Mom's credit card on playing dress up in a shooter. For skins, there's the 3 months too late Malcor that kind of looks like a leftover Halloween asset. Verge with a mask that has no eye holes in it, so how the fuck can you even see in that thing? Tech Ops, which is a head that looks like one of those awful Christmas string lights. Jaeger and Fyra, because Viking characters are always associated with winter-esque shit. Cobalt, that looks like if T-1000 has been holding his breath for near an eternity. Cabby, which is what people that win during the Cash Cab game show actually dress like in real life. And finally, the Ice Queen, because of course you have to pay for the female version of a skin that you can earn via the Battle Pass. For gliders, there's Diverge, which probably goes along with the Verge skin just based on name alone. Coaxial Chopper, which hopefully won't hurt players like the ones in Blackout sometimes accidentally do. Tusk to go with those Viking skins, and Winter's Thorn that makes Santa's sleigh extremely jealous. For back blings, the Malcor wings to hold up that vampire-like leftover from October skin. The Arc wings for people that still believe in those fairy tales about 2 of every animal. Emblazoned buckler and runic shield for those Vikings. Capacitor for those people that use antiquated forms of energy consumption like Trump's favorite coal. Reinforced backplate that probably goes with Cobalt. And ice spikes because the Ice Queen isn't a bottom. New harvesters include Clean Cut, that's probably what I need to scrape my car with in the morning after a snowstorm. Evil Eye to go along with Malcor. Armature for the Verge. Battle Axe for those Vikings. The Flimsy Flail to remind everyone that this is a kid's game after all. And Icebringer for our Ice Queen. There's 2 new wraps here with carbon fiber and an elementary school lesson on the color wheel with only the blue and red sections. Lastly, our emotes, the IDK, which is my answer to the rhetorical question of what the fuck are my idiot teammates doing, Slick, Flux, and Whirlwind. Just like a Billy Mays commercial, but wait. There's more, as a collab between Fortnite and EDM artist Marshmello will be coming in February as announced on Instagram. However, there have also been new music files found in the latest patch of his more popular songs. Also in audio leaks, sound assets have been found alongside visual assets of a medieval sword, which is different from the vaulted due to PTSD Nightmares Infinity Blade, which might be an upcoming limited time mode weapon or just a new weapon for everybody, and a new snowman consumable, which has the description of a portable snowman disguise, which may be a new take on the the existing near useless bush item. Speaking of which, an Epic developer has replied to a Reddit thread at aiming to make the bush actually worth its legendary status by giving hints at upcoming tweaks, including having it absorb one shot of damage before it breaking like an armor, having the leaves be less obstructive to the user actually wearing it, having the bush not be consumed after receiving only one shot and instead staying on the player until downed, or having multiple charges to re-enable your actually ghillie suit. I still don't see this as making this anything but a niche item, but if you want to play like a pussy, you might as well have a bush, right? Anyways, what do you think about the glider redeploy mechanic, and what do you think the upcoming Ice Storm event will entail? I've been Schwans 27, out like Jalen Hurts in Alabama. Until next time.